All right. So hopefully everybody had a good day today. It is April 11th. It is Tuesday. We did not really have any news today, but we do have CPI and FOMC going into tomorrow. So that is why we sort of had a lot of chop today, especially in the morning. I took one trade today on ES. We'll go over the trade, why I took it, and then we'll also go over just the price action today. I want to look over some of the stuff if there's any other setups that I maybe didn't see later in the day when I got off. And then also we'll end the session with what we're going to be looking at going into tomorrow. Keep in mind, tomorrow, again, is FOMC CPI. So I will be lowering my size. I will not be trading full size tomorrow because it is a news day. So we're going to be careful, going to be patient going into tomorrow, seeing how the price action plays out, blah, 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 blah. I would wait, Eric. All right. So the trade that we took on ES this morning, let me draw in what I had before. All right. So on a 15-minute time frame, actually, we'll zoom out a little bit. On a 1 hour time frame, in the overnight session, we took this high out, buy side liquidity swept. And at open, I saw that we actually came down and broke this low. So that would be market structure shift on a 15-minute time frame. So we have exactly what we want to see for our model. We have liquidity swept on a 15-minute. Big push back into this range, right? It's not like we know slowly chop. We push right above this and have no follow through, right? We immediately sell off and take out this low. So this is our market structure shift. We have big displacement, right? And we pull back into our fair value gap. Also, we have that 50% retracement. We pull back 50% into the fair value gap and then sell back off. But we did have a lot of chop. It wasn't as clean as I wanted it to be. That's why my first price target got hit and I got stopped at break even. So once I saw, again, normally we want to see this model on a 1 minute or a 5 minute to trade it off of. But since this was on a 15-minute, we have to position ourselves accordingly since we're trading the model on a 15-minute time frame. So what I wanted to see is I wanted to see internal liquidity being swept on a 1 minute and then a break of structure for me to enter. So that's what I did right here. I set my stop. Once I saw this high being taken out, I waited for a break of structure. We started chop, chop, chop. Once I saw this low get broken, I entered right here. Didn't get the best fill, but that's okay. Set my stop at this high. And I ended up moving my stop. My first price target was this low, but I realized we started to chop. So what I did is once we came up and I got this big sell off, my first price target was this low and I took off half my contracts here. And then I moved my stop, which honestly, this was not the best trade because it was 101. But the reason why I set my stop so loose is because on a 15-minute time frame, we could still come up, right, and still be invalidated. Because if this is on a 1 minute, right, that's what I would normally put my stop as. So that's why I traded lower size, right? Because I wanted to give my stop a little bit room because I normally put my stop at the recent wick. And since we're trading on a 15-minute, I have to lower my size because we're trading a 15-minute model, right? And I have to give it a little bit more room. So then once we came down, flushed through this low, I put my stop at break even. Once we took this 50% out, and then we automatically bounced back up, sold the rest off at break even and made $400 on that. Not a bad trade. Again, got the model that I wanted. Now, this should have been a lot cleaner of a trade. I wanted to see just a quick sell off to this low. Normally we would, but since it is the day before CPI, I was expecting a lot of chop, right? The model still worked out, so it's still a clean trade on a 15-minute time frame. Like it still gets what we want. Market structure shift pullback to fair value gap, then we take off new lows, right? We got what we wanted. It's just not as clean as I would have wanted it to be just because the action was very choppy today going into FOMC and CPI. Justin, when looking at bigger time frame, should your size decrease due to bigger R? Exactly. Absolutely. Because most of the time, if I'm trading on like a 1 minute, which normally I do, and I'm going to trade my full size, most of the time my stop loss is going to be not big. Like, let's say it would be like, if I was going to enter short here, like my stop would be above this high, right? So that's a, 4140.5 to 4142. That's like a 2-point stop, right? But if I entered right here and I moved my stop here, that's 4140 to 45, right? So that's increasing my stop by 2. So I decrease my size by 2. If that makes sense. Because if I would do full size here and then I end up getting stopped out, I'm going to take a way bigger loss than I should have out in this trade, right? So looking at the day, I do want to look back at this price action. There was I think there was maybe a setup that maybe on the 2-minute here. So looking at this, once this low was swept here and we continue to fail and break above this, we got this big, nice displacement back up, created a 2-minute fair value gap right here. Now I want to look on the 1-minute, see if there was any sort of clean break of structure. It doesn't really look like there was quite yet. So I would not have taken a long here because none of these highs were really broken yet. Still wouldn't have really taken any sort of position here. Yeah, there wasn't really any trades the rest of the day. Yeah, I don't really like. But again, price action was just shitty today. It was just very choppy. I'm gonna look at NQ. I feel like there's probably better setups on NQ just because the price action was better today. Looking on the 1-minute, keep in mind, we also were bouncing off this 1-hour fair value gap that we had, or 30-minute fair value gap. So we had this big fair value gap and we had this breaker block, right? So we had this order block, breaker block now pulled to the side. We can see how well we've been respecting it today. Looking at a 5-minute. Looks like we swept low internally here. So I want to zoom in on a 1-minute, see if there's any setups here. Looks like there was actually. This would have been a nice long here. Broke this low, big displacement back up, big candles, taking out this high. Decent displacement, we chop. Now, one thing I like to talk about too is displacement-wise, I like to see either a big push above this or a push above and a hold above, right? See how we kind of just chop above this high? That gives me enough validation that we're continuing to hold above, and this would be a nice long entry targeting highs. So this was probably the only setup that I would have seen. Again, no other trade would have really done this. I mean, this could have been liquidity internal push up, fair value gap here. I wouldn't really have taken that though. Targeting this high potentially. I mean, that wouldn't have been bad. Now there was a short setup. Was there a short setup? I mean, I guess there was a short setup, but I still wouldn't have taken because of the price action. This is pretty much the only really long that I see right now. Targeting recent high, stop below the wick. So that would have been nice. Looking elsewhere's, we take this high out, come back down, create equal lows, break that, come back up. Again, no displacement, pull back down. Don't take that new low out yet. And then we just kind of trend the rest of the day. And then it looks like right here, we took liquidity one more time. Big sell off. This could have been a possible short. Once we took this low out, big displacement, pull back to fair value gap. First price target would be this. But was any high taken here? I don't think so. I mean, I guess we did retrace. So we retraced 50%. Retrace 50%. We're in a fair value gap here, a 15-minute fair value gap. Let me check the 1-minute. 1-minute doesn't really have anything. 2-minute, not really anything there. 3-minute. We kind of have this order block here. But again, I still wouldn't really take a short here because there's no really high or low. Again, not an A+ setup, so most likely wouldn't take it. But we still see our model playing out. Liquidity, break of structure, fair value gap. You can see it playing out. Equal lows. Was there any equal lows here? There was. And this got targeted here. You can see we came down, literally took this out, and then bounced immediately once we took those equal lows out. Other than that, I don't really, there was not a lot of good action. Again, it's just the action, right? Most of the time, once we get action like this, we won't see a lot of good opportunities. When you say you wouldn't have taken it because of the price action, can you explain? Yeah. So when most of the time, if I'm not seeing clean movement, meaning like highs being broken cleanly, we're pushing up, coming down, and we're just kind of chopping, like especially on ES today, Like if I was going to look at like a 5-minute chart on ES and I look at the morning, like from opening bell to like all the way to noon, we were just in this range, like no movement whatsoever. It's just straight up and down. Like if you look at the 5 minutes, just jumping up and down. The action is awful, right? It's not good at all. It's just straight up, down, up, down, up, down, up, down. There's no clean moves. Especially when we have like a bearish model like this on a 15-minute and I see us not like selling off right away like I would normally expect it to, it gives me a sense of being, okay, I have to take into account that now. Most of the time, I would want to see an aggressive sell-off. If I'm not getting an aggressive sell-off, that means that sellers are like, we're either going to chop, bounce to the upside, or we're going to continue to chop in this range, or we're just going to slowly taper off. And most of the time, those market conditions tell me not to trade, because most of the time, if you trade market conditions like that, you're just going to get chopped up. So most of the time, if I see the market like this, even if a trade looks good, I won't take it, because sometimes it won't work out just because it's a market condition, right? Trading like a day before FOMC, CPI is one of those days that it's very hard to, like, I know a lot of people that like got chopped up today and lost money because they try to chase this chop. Like they think they can read this action. I've been getting so much better at not seeing everything as my setup. You tend to be bias chasing the moves, man. Exactly. Yeah. Especially when like action like this today, it's very unpredictable. So you think you know something and then it goes against you. And then that changes your bias, and then that goes against you. And then you're like, wait, and then you just start over analyzing. And then because it's just the market's chopping, it's not going anywhere. So you're just trying to predict where it's going next when it's not going anywhere. So I did like this. ES did take this high out, market structure shift. I did look at this. There was no setup though. This would be a market structure shift. We had that fair value gap. We just sold right through this though. We had a 1 minute fair value gap right here, but it was never hit. That would have been entry. We just sold off. Sold off to take out equal lows here. What time is news tomorrow? So we have FOMC at 2 my time, or actually New York time 2. So we have CPI at 8:30. So pre-market. CPI pre-market. So we'll get a move pre-market. And then we have FOMC at 2 p.m. So big news day tomorrow. Going to be very eventful. Should expect some big moves. I am. All right. So going into my bias tomorrow. So again, FOMC, very hard to predict. Like FOMC will really do whatever it wants to. It's kind of hard to predict direction. But if I had to pick direction, I would be bearish. Because come up already on a bigger time frame. If we're looking at a 4-hour, we had this massive move up, took out this high, immediately sell back off, bouncing back up, still holding this 4-hour fair value gap. Still holding this 4-hour fair value gap. Liquidity swept internally. I want to see a big sell-off, and I want to see us take out these lows tomorrow. I want to see us take out these lows tomorrow. Is what I want to see. So on a smaller time frame, though, what I am watching for tomorrow is, again, a lot of my bias won't come until I wake up and see what happened in the overnight session. But I do think the next draw on liquidity is going to be this low here. So this sell side liquidity will be the next low being taken out, in my opinion, or that, like, I feel like we'll take this out before we see any higher. So this will be the next draw on liquidity. And then again, a lot of action here is just hard to, it's just kind of straight down, straight up. So not really any prominent lows that we can base any thesis off of. So we don't want to be careful for that. Any equal lows here? Not that I see. Check the 1 minute. I guess we have some equal lows here, but they're kind of stacked. I guess I'll draw this over. We have little 3 equal lows here. We have these 2 equal lows here. But if we come down and take these, we'll take this low out tomorrow. But I want to draw this low in. Just so if I do get in a short, then I know a price target, right? Price target are always going to be equal lows or equal highs, if there are some. I'd rather news be pre-market, honestly. I agree. Yeah, I agree. All right. Bigger time frame. Again, 4 hour. I still think we're bearish tomorrow. I still want to see a bigger sell off, and I want to see to see us take these lows out. And we could go back to the weekly opening gap, which is this weekly opening gap 4081 area. So I want to see us come back down to this. Notice how we went straight down and then went right back up to weekly opening gap. Straight down and then went right back up to weekly opening gap. So again, most of the time when we're consolidating, we like to stick around this gap, and notice how we've just been chopping at this gap the whole time. So this pink line, these two pink lines is the new weekly opening gap. So the one that was created last Sunday, and then the red one is the one created from last week. So this is our weekly opening gap right here, the new weekly opening gap. And notice how we've just been like stuck, right? We go up, we go down, we go to it, we go up, we go down, back to it, right? So we're just kind of stuck magnet to this area here. And that's normally what happens when we get consolidation weeks, is we'll stick at this weekly opening gap. But I want to see a sell off tomorrow. I think the next draw on liquidity will be the sell side level. So we'll see if we can get any setups tomorrow. Looking at a bigger time frame, you could honestly consider this to be market structure shift on a bigger time frame, right? If we were looking at this right on a 1 hour, if like we were looking at on a 1 minute, this would be liquidity swept, internal liquidity swept, big push down. Now I want to see a push down below this, right? So here, let me draw this in. This is what I want to see. I want to see this being taken and then a pullback possible to a fair value gap and then see new lows. That's what I want to see. Can you tell us anything about that TGRSI tactical traders post? I talked about it a little bit before. We're going to be doing like a webinar together. So we're going to be giving people the opportunity to come and talk to me and TGR both in the present time. We're going to do a Zoom call where people can come in and people can like raise their hands, and we're going to bring people on and talk to us, and they can talk about their trading journey, any problems they've been having, ask for advice. And then we'll be talking about our strategy, how we trade, how similar things about how we trade, different things about how we trade, answering questions, stuff like that. Justin, sometimes I notice that market will look like it chases liquidity, but sometimes it doesn't take it, but gets really close. Why does it do that? If any idea, also, wouldn't that mind fuck your play? Thanks. Yeah, it's a good question. So this day, I was expecting this low to get taken, and we didn't take it. So what do I do if that happens? I don't touch it. That doesn't give me the confidence. If it doesn't happen, then you don't do anything. It's that simple, right? Because the first thing I'd want to see is this low being taken out and then a bounce, right? Since that low never got taken, I now have to think what the next draw on liquidity is, right? If we come down, and we were talking about this the other day, we took out these equal lows here and then started to bounce. So once we get this bounce and we continue to start going up, once we're like here, up here, my now thesis on the draw on liquidity will be this high. So once we get like past here and I see how much buying pressure we have, my thesis for the draw on liquidity would be this high. So if we come down and we're expecting a low or a high to get taken and it doesn't get taken, most of the time I won't touch it. In my notes, I pretty much have your strategy: liquidity sweep, market structure shift, significant displacement, fair value gap, then target highs, liquidity. Really simple. Yep, that's all it is. Yep, other factors too. Also, like ICE, if there's an SMT, mark that out too. Oh, guys, if you have not already, go check out the link I posted in the Discord. I'll pull it up real quick. This is T-Mac, which is a buddy of me and Cheyenne's. He created this PDF of ICT models, and literally exact models like of what we trade pretty much. So liquidity grab, break of structure, fair value gap. This was a basic model here. Some different variants, right? HTF is high time frame liquidity grab. So this line, right? The high time frame liquidity grab from the low, liquidity grab internally, break of structure, fair value gap, boom, right? And then similar thing with this, right? These would be an SMT variation. So similar to what our model is, but if we're going to take a longer or short here, right, we get the higher low being created and then or a lower high being created on whatever time frame that is, right? Same thing with this. Also, IDM internal. We want to see internal liquidity being taken one more time. This is another thing. Whenever we see, this is why we don't set our stops too tight, because once we get that bear structure, we can always go back down and test the fair value gap again to sweep liquidity from that low. And we go back, then bounce, right? So there's a lot of models on here that we like to trade, right? More another SMT, another fair value gap with fibs. There's just a lot of different models in here that we trade. He just like to draw them in. So a lot of these, like we will trade. It's just he was able to draw them in and like actually give a name to them. How does your SMT influence your entries? Just additional confidence or confluence? Yeah, exactly. Just adds more confidence to it. Damn, you trades Danny and TGR teaming up recently feels like an Avengers movie. Yeah, I don't I was kind of sick and tired of everybody being like so toxic to each other. So I reached out to everybody and like was like wanted to get everybody together. So I've just been like befriending everybody in the community and wanting to get everybody together and kind of be friends with everybody. Heading out, broski. Appreciate you letting me say a few words today on the live. See you all tomorrow. Much love, Brian. I was glad to have you in the live today, man. Have a great rest of your night. I'll see you tomorrow morning, bro. What is IDM? Honestly, I'm not even sure if I know what IDM is. Where did he say IDM? Let me see. Am I missing it? IDM. What the fuck is IDM? Internal liquidity. Oh, it's just internal liquidity. So I say I don't know why it's IDM. I don't even know what that stands for, but it's same thing as what I say, internal liquidity. I'll link it in the chat for you guys. There you go. What do you trade off SMTs? I know what they are, but I don't understand what they show for a trade. Literally, like for the example, we'll literally look at this model. It's exactly what I want to see, right? Actually, there was an example. Where was it? Fuck. There was an example. I don't remember where it was. So I'm just gonna take this. Fail SMT. So he kind of, I don't really like how he did this because he didn't show the differences, but what it would look like. So for example, like, let me screenshot this so it'll make more sense. And I can draw on it. So like looking at this, right? So this red line would be SMT. So what this means is if we're looking at ES, right? Say this is ES. On an NQ chart, NQ would look like this. NQ would be taking out this low like this and forming a new low, right? So then the SMT, this is showing that ES is making a lower high and NQ is making a lower low, if that makes sense. And then we get that break of structure and a fair value gap. You trading tomorrow? I will be trading, just light size. Yeah, I got you, Robert. I love an SMT. Yes, sir. What else? What else did I want to talk about tonight? So we already talked about we're going to be doing that funded intraday and market liquidity. Okay, gotcha. Okay. I just like saying internal liquidity, but I guess that makes sense too. Any news on the masterclass? Yeah, masterclass signup should start next week or 2 weeks from now. I'm not sure how I want to do it yet. I think I'm just going to do it on the WAP page. So that's the biggest thing I'm still trying to figure out, because I'm thinking about just creating a role in the Discord. So we just continue to use our Discord now, but people will be able to buy the masterclass role, and then the masterclass role will open up the masterclass channel in the Discord, which is where all the education will be, all the announcements will be, all the, you know, recording, all the stuff that we're going to be talking about, stuff like that, which I think is the easiest way to do it, because we're already using our Discord. We're just adding a new section to it. Do you still need an editor for socials? Not right now. I edit for myself. I feel like it works fine. Anything we need to do to switch to WAP? All you got to do is go to wap.com/hub and log in, and it should show your subscription. If your subscription is not there, then go to the right bottom and click support and tell them that your subscription is not showing up. And if they're not doing anything, then send me your email and I'll have to do it. How much are you thinking of charging? Oh, for the masterclass? I'm not sure. Everybody, dude, every trader I go to, TJR and Danny think that I would charge too low for it. So I still don't know. I'm thinking around $5. I'm thinking around 300. And they want me to charge more for it, but I don't want to overprice it, because I want people to get a lot of value out of it, which I think it has an insane amount of value in it and what I will be teaching. But I feel like the masterclass is for people like getting into trading, like just getting into trading. Like people who don't have a lot of experience, because a lot of like people that are going to be joining the masterclass that are like already intermediate traders, they won't be getting valuable information until like the 5th lesson. I mean, they'll still get value on information, but they're going to get most of the information that'll be valuable to them later, like in the later sessions, you know, because we're going to be going through everything, like the basics of a fucking candlestick, right? What is a wick? What is a body? You know, what's volume? How do the markets work? What's futures? It's like everything. So it's a masterclass. So yeah, it's a one-time payment. It's a one-time payment. And then after the whole thing is done, you'll have access to all the recordings as well. And then after the masterclass is done, all of those recordings will then be uploaded to WAP, and people can then purchase the masterclass recordings. When you say you're trading small tomorrow, are you saying you're trading 3 contracts of NQ2 on ES? No, more like 2 contracts of NQ, 3 or 4 of ES, if that tomorrow. Honestly, it all depends on the price action. It depends on what I see. If I'm confident in something, then I'll take size, but you reckon you will do multiple signups as well? Like after the masterclass is over, you'll do another group of students in the future? Yeah, probably. Like, I mean, the masterclass will still be like, all the recordings will be available when it's done, so people can still like purchase it and access the recordings. But doing an actual like live masterclass again, I'll probably do them like a couple every year, like probably every quarter, I guess. Every couple months is when I'll do one. Is what I've been thinking about doing. And I also plan on doing guests as well. So for the masterclass, I plan on bringing other traders in as special guests at the end of the sessions, like bringing other people in to talk about their strategies, you know, seeing how they differ, possibly TGR, Danny, Jay Dunn, some people I've been talking to in the community, and bringing them on just for fun and having them in the sessions as well. Any new YouTube videos planned? Yes. I mean, I wanted to do, I might make I'm still thinking about it, but I might make a 30, like a really long video on my whole entire strategy. Like literally everything, but I'm not sure yet. But most of the YouTube videos I'll be uploading in the future will either be trading recaps, recordings of the trading days, stuff like that. And then I also want to do educational content, but I just really don't enjoy doing newbie education, which I know that I should do more of it, like getting into trading, what's futures, how to set up a broker, stuff like that. But I like get so passionate about the more in-depth stuff because I feel like that's where people actually learn. But I feel like I should do more noob friendly education as well, but we'll see. I don't know. What do you guys think? Do you guys think I should do a little bit more noob friendly education as well? Like going over the basics? Can confirm. Enjoying the more complicated and intricate topics. I agree. It's just more fun because it's more in depth. You get to, discuss more complex ideas and exactly. In basics, you can find the basics anywhere. You can't find somebody with experience that can actually like talk about trading like me and other traders. What's the biggest change in your life so far as a result of your new full-time job? Dude, literally like nothing. I don't know. I talked about this on a TikTok the other day, but I've like always been a very happy person. Like I've always enjoyed, even when I didn't have money, I was like enjoyed life every single day. Like there's always a moment to enjoy. There's always something to take out of every experience in your life. So when you have money, I guess it just gives you more freedom. That's just the biggest thing. You don't worry about, little things. Like you can go out to eat and not worry about like having to afford the bill. Like that's my biggest thing. I love food. So I guess that's literally the biggest thing is I spend a decent amount of money on food, I guess. That's literally it though. Like there hasn't really been I haven't changed my lifestyle. Like I know so many traders that's like they make money and they're going to like go buy a new car, go buy designer clothes. Like I don't really see any value in that shit. Like I like my goal is to be free. Like all that extra shit is not going to add any more enjoyment to my life. Literally more Chipotle, bro. Like that's what's going to make me like enjoy it. Finish Chipotle. I was gonna get Chipotle today, and then I was like, I've had it too much this week. Your mentality is elite. Like you can genuinely enjoy. Dude, I love it. Like I literally love it. It's so fun for me. And I wish I like my I was talking to Danny who just came in too. If you guys don't know Danny, who stopped in at the beginning, he owns Traders Evolve, which is another Discord. And I met him a couple months ago. I reached out to him and we became good friends. But I was talking to him about Danny was here. Yeah, he joined in the start of the session. He just came to say what's up to everybody. But I was on a phone call with him earlier today, and it's sad to say, but like most of the realist people and the most realist traders don't get the amount of attention and following that other people do. Because it's not like I'm not like in your face being like, I just made $5,000 today. This is my focus. Like, blah, blah, blah. I'm not like I don't like I don't care like to put on a persona. I'm just doing what I love doing, and it doesn't get as much. It doesn't get as much as attention, and so it's like contemplating. It's like, do I go down that road of like for like attention wise, like to bring in more views and stuff? Like it's like a complicated thing. But I don't think I would ever do that because I don't care. Exactly. I would never change who I am or whatever it is. It's more of just a marketing technique. It's just marketing. Danny's one of like the nicest. Like Danny's so nice. He's gave me so much advice and has helped me a lot. I think Danny's a great guy. That's the Discord I left to join this one. Yeah, Danny's a great guy. I don't watch him trade that much, but as a person, he's a great guy. This is a huge market for you to do basics and then lead into more complicated strategy. I found you knowing very little and learn to get to understand what you were talking about. I think staying true to your community would mean avoiding newbie stuff, but you could make a lot of money doing newbie stuff with the downside of getting hate from those that think it's easy. I mean, it's not like if I did create newbie stuff, it's not like I would stop doing what I'm already doing. It would just add on to it. Like I'd still create what the content that I do now and still create the videos we do now and talk about the stuff we do now in charting sessions. I would just create more noob friendly content that people can then watch as well. Like people that want to get like brand new into it. Stick to what you're doing now, brother. Once you go down that road, it will be more money, but people that you attract to the group ruin your vibe you've got going on. I agreed. I'm really happy. I don't know. Today made me question that, dude. Today really made me fucking question that shit, dude. I've been very happy with our community so far, but today kind of pissed me off. I'm not gonna lie. I was not happy with the way people were behaving in the chat today. But normally it's always very, 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 very positive and very helpful to other, and that's I'm very happy for that. Yeah, Danny does strictly supply and demand and trend lines, which I don't like. But if it works for him, it works for him. Get a load of this guy, Mr. Dan. Yeah, today was weird. How long have you been trading? How long did it take for you to become successful trading? I've been trading for 3.5 years, almost 4 years. It took me around 2 years, 2.5 years to become profitable. You ever mess around with Forex? Nope. I don't really need to. I don't care. One thing I've learned with trading over the years is you don't overstimulate yourself. Like you really only need one or two things to trade to make money and master those things. Like I know people that just trade SPY QQQ options that work for them. Like I just trade ES and NQ. That's it. It's I've been trading it for years. I know, familiar with the price action. I know how to trade it. Do you remember your first convo with your parents after becoming profitable? When did you know it's time to have that convo? You don't tell them until you have the evidence to back it up. Like months of progress. Because the moment you bring it up where you think you're there, you're going to fail. Do it, work in silence. Work with your head down. You don't need to show it off, do it for you. Once you get to a point where you are like 6 months, like 6 months is what I would say. 6 months of consistent profitability. You have logs, you have journals, you have broker statements, you can show it and prove it. That's when you go to your parents and be like, hey, this is my statements the last 6 months. This is my journal last 6 months. I've made blah, 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 blah. You can't say shit now. You and an impressive person. When I was your age, the last thing I was thinking about was stuff like this. Congrats. Much love, brother. I really don't find I like this. This is true enjoyment for me. It's what makes me happy. Also, when you withdraw, do brokers send you statements for tax purposes? Yeah, they do. Well, it depends. So at the end of the year, your broker will send you your taxes, whatever it is. It'll be taxed. It'll already be taxed or from short-term capital gains or whatever it is. And then most of the time you're going to be like, want to like fucking like, I don't know. When I got my tax statements, it was not a fun night. Let's just say that. Let's just say like I drank afterward because they took a lot of money. But it's just a part of the game. That's why I trade futures, because you're at least getting some kind of tax benefit from futures if you were going to trade any other instrument. So yeah, and you can go to their website too. Like if you're, it depends what broker, but like I used to trade TD Ameritrade when I traded options, and so you could do it on the broker. Yes, don't underestimate a good accountant too, which I need to get this year, because now that I have Tactical Traders as an LLC, I'm going to be trying to write off as much shit as possible. So we'll see how that goes. How did you learn to become profitable from your losses? Were there any books you read, videos you watched? Honestly, it's kind of controversial me saying this, but I think books are a scam for trading. Unless like the only good book I'd recommend is Trading in the Zone by Mark Douglas, just because it's more psychology, not strategy. But literally the biggest thing is just experience. Like journal every trade you take, look back at what works, what doesn't work. The biggest thing in trading is just experience. Like doing something like 1,000 times over and over again and failing at something 1,000 times over and over again, it kind of cements into your brain of what's right and what's wrong. The biggest thing is just building the discipline to do that same thing over and over again and not break your rules. If you're in California and want one, I can send you towards mine. I'm not in California anymore, but if I was, I would hit you up. I fear not the man who has practiced 10,000 kicks once, but the fear of the man who has practiced one kick 10 times. Yes, I agree. I think it's, I don't think that's the exact one, but I I get what you're saying. Practice one kick 10,000 times, not practice 10,000 kicks once. This guy said one kick 10 times. Yeah, I was actually planning on doing this today, but I want to go over how I journal. So I use OneNote, and I think this is just going to bring up oh, here we go. So like we'll do something like new for like today, right? This is literally step-by-step process on how to journal. Oh, that's what I'm going to do. I'm going to make a fucking YouTube video on how to journal. I'm going to make a YouTube video on how to journal. That's what I'm going to do. All right. This is how I journal. Title, OneNote, right? So what I would do is like so let's say I was up $400 on a day, right? Or whatever. I don't know the exact amount. So I'm just going to do plus 400. And then you do whatever the date is, 4/11/2023, right? Okay. So now first thing I do, go into the trade, journal what the trade was. So let's go today. So market structure shift, boom. Let me draw this in 15-minute fair value gap. Blah, 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 blah. 15-minute, boom, boom, boom. Da, 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 da. Draw that in. Label that. Go to the 1 minute, my entry. Draw liquidity, break a structure. Bada bing, bada boom. And then draw on my whatever my position was, right? And then draw what I would do is what my original entry was, or what my original price target. And then what my price targets were. So draw them in like this. And then whatever my stop loss was. So first thing I want to do is whatever time frame like my basis was off of, I want to look at all the time frames. So what I do, go to a 15-minute. This is what my basis was off of. S or whatever it is, Control Shift S, screenshot it, put it in here. First thing you do, zoom out, move this a little bit to the right. Okay. Is there a fucking, there's got to be a dark mode, bro. There's got to be a dark mode. Display. No way, there's not a fucking dark mode. Size, font color. Office background, calligraphy. Colorful, dark gray. Bro. She just does that? Can I not get like the page? Settings, no. Options. Black, calligraphy, clouds. Oh, gang. Okay. So draw in screenshot of your first, and then draw in like a 5-minute as well. And then whatever the 1 minute is, that or whatever time frame you took the trade off of. And then I go here, I zoom into the 1 minute, screenshot this, and then put it in as well. What did I just do? Okay, there we go. And then put this in, size this up, put that right there. All right. So now I have both trades, right? We have a 15-minute and we have a 1 minute. So now what I do when I journal, what do I want to talk about? Biggest thing with journaling is you want to go through your thought process and write it down. Like, what was I thinking? What was my bias? First thing I write, what was my bias going into the day? So, okay. On ES 15-minute buy side swept in the overnight session, giving me a bearish bias for the day. Got a market structure shift on the 15-minute time frame. So I was watching to see how the 15-minute fair value gap would react for a possible short. Okay. So that's my bias. This is what I was watching for when market opened. All right. So then God damn it. So now what actually trade was I watching? So once we came back into the 15-minute fair value gap, I needed to take into account that we were trading a 15-minute model, not a 5-minute or 1 minute. This tells me I need to lower my size since my stop will be looser. Okay. So you got to talk about the reasoning behind what you're doing, buys coming in, what your reasoning is. If I was going to like for this specific trade, right, I lowered my size because we're trading a 15-minute model. I need to loosen my stop, right, on a 15-minute. So now going into the 1 minute. Once we swept 1 minute high, I waited for a break of structure to get in short. For this trade, I didn't wait for a 1 minute fair value gap since it was market open and we were already rejecting 15-minute fair value gap on a bigger time frame. I got in short and put my stop at the 15-minute wick high. Okay. Now I'm entered the trade. Now I want to go over my thought process with this trade, right? What was my thought process in this trade? We got an immediate sell-off into my first, actually, wait, no, we actually got that push up. So right when we entered, we got a push to the upside that, and then you talk about your emotion too. Let's say maybe I was like scared to the upside that I started to get a little bit scared and thought of taking off my position. I was afraid it might run to my stop, right? We then sold off hard into my first PT where I took off 50% securing my profits. Okay. So we have bias going into the day, what I was looking for, the trade that I took, exactly my thought process. And then how did I get out of the position? We then ended up bouncing, or actually I moved my stop to break even. Then we bounced and ended up getting stopped on the rest of my position at break even. So now after you've done this, after you've done your buys for the day, after you've done what you're watching, after you've done the trade that you took, you want to go over what you can learn from this. What did you do right? What did you do wrong? So rights and wrongs. Stayed patient into the open and waited for internal liquidity to be swept and a break of structure to enter short. Okay. What else did I do right? I followed my PT and SL and didn't get scared when we had that initial push. Okay. What else? I traded my model on the 15-minute. All right. Okay. So what did I maybe do wrong here? What did I maybe do wrong? I could have possibly left my stop a little higher since the 15-minute model was never invalidated. Right? Whatever it is. And then boom. There you go. Journal day. You got your screenshots, whatever it is. You got your entry. You got your PT hit. Your stop at break even. You have, your bias. You talk about what you're looking for. Talk about your emotion. How are you feeling throughout the trade? Talking about what you did wrong, what you did right. Exactly your whole thought process going into the trade. Boom. This is a journaled trade right here. This is what it should look like. Hope that helps you guys. Hope that gives you some sort of look into journaling. But I definitely want to make a journaling video after that, after doing that. All right, guys. I think we'll end the session there. Again, going into tomorrow, we do have CPI, FOMC. So going to be very patient. Again, expecting some crazy action tomorrow. Going to be lowering my position sizing because it is a news day. Again, don't want to risk a lot of capital on news days. Again, don't want to get burned. I am short biased though. That's pretty much it. Since we took out these highs, we keep rejecting, going lower. This is the next draw on liquidity. Is this low right here? Want to see us get a nice break below this, possibly a pullback into this fair value gap on a bigger time frame. And then I want to see these lows getting taken out tomorrow if we can get that much selling pressure. We'll see. But again, FOMC moves are unpredictable. We could honestly just skyrocket to new highs. So we'll see. All right, guys. Hope you guys have a great rest of your night. If anybody has any sort of questions about anything we talked about tonight or just anything in general, feel free to just at me in the VIP chat and I will answer any questions you guys have. Making the community better. Much love. Enjoy the rest of your night. You too, guys. All right. I'll see you tomorrow morning, guys. Peace. Of course, Jet.